Hey guys, what's going on? Brimstone's Gaming here, and I got a special guest with me today by the name of CyrusMartin. He goes here on YouTube as the guy that likes to debate others every now and then, and gets his feet wet and the gist of things. How you doing today?
Well, I don't really like to debate people. I just happen to get caught in it once in a while.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so in this video, if you guys have kept up with me on Twitter, I reached out to Cyrus last night after the debate that took place, and I just wanted to give this guy, I wanted to show this what this guy is like to talk to. You know what I mean? Because it seems to me there's a lot of false representation here on YouTube and how we are in the videos versus how we really are outside of the videos. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the mix of things that we forget that. And I just want to say to you, you handled that debate pretty well. You didn't lash out, you didn't go crazy, you didn't go insane. You actually, I mean, you could obviously, if you were to watch that debate, they could see easily where you start getting a little agitated, and that's natural. That's a normal thing. I mean, you try to make point after point, and obviously when someone's not getting it, that's going to agitate anybody that's of sound mind. So that's just part of the situation, I guess. So the debate itself, let's talk about that. What was your thought process going into it? It seemed like it was not really a planned thing as a debate, was it? It was more like it was supposed to be a conversation, right? And then it just kind of branched off into it.
It happened very fast. I had gotten into a few Twitter exchanges over the past week or so with a group of people, and it was related around this topic of this statement that is made, and it's been made by a few people on YouTube. The statement is, PC is objectively better than console. I disagreed with that, and I felt like I could make a pretty good case for it, so I made a video about it. And then I got into some exchanges on Twitter about it, and these two guys that ended up in this debate with me were two of the people that I met on Twitter. I really don't even know who they are.
Fair enough.
And right, and it just kind of all of a sudden, what they were like, I think it was like one of those things where like, hey, debate us, and I was like, okay. And I think they were kind of as surprised as anybody that we went down this path, and it actually happened. It was thrown together real fast, and I didn't realize what the circumstances were even going to be until we started. You can see that in the video.
Yeah.
To people, we were just doing a show. We do a show every Sunday, and it's called Game Rambling. We talk about games. And I was like, okay, this is not really part of that show. So as soon as that show's over, we'll do this other thing. We'll do this debate. So all in the chat room and everything were thinking, and I was thinking, we were all going to be in this collective conversation, but that's not what they wanted. I was trying to understand what they wanted, and once we got started, it went how it went. It was an interesting talk, and like I was saying, I respect the fact that they wanted to even do it and that they stuck through the whole thing for over an hour. We'll probably interpret what was said differently,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was thrown together, and we just kind of riffed. I obviously already had a lot of this in my head because I had made a video and been talking to people for a few days about it already. So all of the points they were really going to go to, I had already played out several times over. So it was basically just me waiting for them to say these things that I already knew were going to be brought up from.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of see where the conversation was going to go, kind of right when they were starting to come in as to why something was better over, proposition A versus position B, and it was like, well then, because when you first deal with debates, kind of like what I've done at least, is if it's always about someone's opinion, you never try to debate somebody's opinion because that debate will never end. It's never ending, And when it's opinions versus opinions, there is no fact, and it continuously just goes and goes and goes. I mean, look at the console war now here on YouTube. That's all that is a ginormous debate on an opinion, which is stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
and
It is. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah. So
Everybody's fighting. You know, everybody's for what they like. Well, how there's no resolution to that. I mean, people like what they like. You know.
Right. I mean, and I think the important thing, and this is going out to those two that were in that video with you, just because somebody else doesn't like what you like, it doesn't mean that they're looking down upon you or anything. Just because you have a disagreement doesn't necessarily mean you have to hate them for it. I mean, it's
well,
it's
the funny
games
thing
at
is,
the end of the day.
the funny thing is, I don't even disagree with them that about most of 99.9% of everything they said. You know, like, obviously PC much greater potential. Obviously it could be much more powerful. Obviously the graphics can be much better. Obviously it has a bigger library. Obviously all these things. It's like, yes, that's why I have one. I recognize the value, but
Yep.
I also, I also want to play Madden. I'm sorry, I do. And so that's where the disconnect was I think that it was sort of a tribal thing where it was like, look, we're this, and this thing, it has all these things that are, statistically better than these other things. So that means why would you do these? And it's like, I understand, but you got to frame it right. If you want to say, let's debate technical specs, which has better potential horsepower. Well, now you can have a debate, right?
Yeah.
Because you can actually debate that. And that's got provable statistics behind it. We just got caught up in this whole other thing about, objectiveness. And it was silly. It went on. And I let it go longer than it probably should, but I really wanted to go through the whole thing. I wanted to make sure we talked it out as far as it possibly could be.
Yeah.
I think we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
I just hope I just hope this going on forward. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
I just hope, like, this going forward, that more and more people understand the actual what words are, like objective and subjective, and the differences between them, because a lot of times you hear objectiveness being introduced as subjective, and it's like, it's not how this works. It doesn't work like that.
Well, I think the problem is that it really is a console versus PC thing. And that's what it really comes down to, is there's people that think that I'm picking a side. They think that I'm sliding PC somehow.
Right.
If I say it's, if I in any way question the immaculate perfection of PC, then I have somehow insulted their capability of making decisions. And I'm like, no, that is not the case. But
right.
I mean, like, I don't know. We're the internet is really divided on everything, and PC versus console is just another example of that. So, but that's never been something that I've never taken that approach. I don't believe console is better than PC. That would be ridiculous. But sometimes I think if there's a group of people that if in any way I show some favor towards console, then I'm, I have to be destroyed.
You gotta be obliterated, sir. How dare you speak up against the Reich?
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, though. I mean, it really does. It feels like that when you're talking about video games to other people. It's like, yeah, I like this. I mean, a lot of these guys didn't even know that I actually like my Xbox, and I game on my Xbox a little bit more than my PC. I mean, yes, I own more games on my PC, but there's just some times where I just like, I feel like playing some Halo today. I can't get Halo 5, the full Halo 5 experience on my PC. I mean, yeah, they got Forge, but yeah, that's it. I got Forza Horizon 2. I love that game. I think that's one of my favorite racers. Next to freaking Mario Kart on the Wii U. I game on all these platforms, you know what I mean? And I can understand definitely the value in them. Yes, they are weaker than what's on PC, but it doesn't necessarily mean the experiences are going to be that much better because they're on PC. And we were talking last night, and the word better came up quite a bit. And Rambo came up with a good point. He says, what is better? Like, what is better? Like, is it better in gaming? I mean, so what? But where's the value to the person? And that's indicative to the individual, not so much an over-encompassing community that all believe the same thing. So a person's preference is what's more important, not...
Yeah, that was really my whole point, was when you say PC the console, you can't make that statement factually like you were saying, but also if you just were to say PC is better than console, then you get into what you're talking about, which is why do we buy these things? And I tried to kind of go through that with the guys on the debate. The reason like you buy a Wii U is because you want to play Mario Kart or Xenoblade Chronicles or Star Fox or one of these games or whatever, and PC can't. I mean, it technically the technical capabilities there, sure, but it's just not going to have games. If you want to play those games, then you buy the console because that's there's not another way to do it. I mean,
we can sit there and claim emulation all day, but there isn't a solid emulator that does that on the current specs that I have. So I can't sit there and openly say, oh, I could totally just emulate the Wii U. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could say that, but I wouldn't be factual at it. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, where it's emulated, it doesn't mean it's going to play the same. It could actually play worse than it would on the actual original platform it came from.
Yeah. Well, replace Wii U with Xbox One. Or I mean, it doesn't really. We're get into semantics. Well, there's an emulator for that one console. That's not what we're talking about. We're saying in general, you've got games. I mean, they're just not on PC. So
yeah.
I mean, I like I said, there's not a debate. There's not an argument to really be had. But I wanted to play that scenario out with the guys because it's a question that I think people they get real caught up in their side and they don't really want to think about like, hey, well, that's true actually. I can't play that on PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. I mean, like you said, you wanted to see this through to the end, and you wanted to make sure you could talk this out to the very end, to all the talking points that you possibly could have. I think that was pretty nice of you, actually. I know most people that I've talked to in the past, they would have just dismissed the entire conversation entirely, and you didn't do that. Well, you could have, but you didn't. So.
Well, to elaborate on that, earlier, whenever you kind of introduced me, you kind of were saying that I get into debates. I really don't want to get into debates. Like
no, that's fine.
That may not be clear. Like I've got into several. Yes, that's true, but that's never been a goal with my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel was supposed to be, before it got sidetracked in a lot of ways, it was supposed to be a celebration of video games and my personal experience with them. Yeah. That's it. I wasn't trying to make a huge YouTube channel for, if I wanted to do that, believe me, I absolutely know now how you do it. That's not what I have ever been interested in. And it's unfortunate that I have been kind of trapped in this space. And I really, yes, that's another one of the main reasons that I wanted to play this scenario out to the fullest that I could, because I want to be done with it. I want to say, look, if you have an opinion about it, here's the videos where you can go look at what I and they said in the comments and post your comments and we can talk about it. But let's contain that. Let's not let that keep spreading over and over and over. And
yeah,
it is right there. There's everything that's going to be necessary. There's nothing really more you can add. I see people put comments in where they try to sort of add something, but I'm like, that's great. Put it in that, because that's where you're going to have those discussions. I don't want to keep debating people.
Well, you had a pretty good supporter last night in the video, and he was right on the money. Rambo was interacting with him last night. His name's Chaz, and the guy had every point to exactly what you and I were discussing. And he saw everything that was going on, and he was even being insulted by one of the guys that was supporting Money Man or whatever his name is. So I'm just kind of like, I was like, wow. I'm like, this guy actually, he's pretty receptive of everything. He actually understood everything that was going on, and personally I appreciate that, because there's nothing more important than to understand and actually listen to the debates versus, rushing in headstrong, yelling and screaming, acting like you're the right one. And it's like, it's not how a debate works, unfortunately. But yeah, that was pretty good on that guy's part. And most importantly, like I stated, I mean, you could have went about this the complete opposite way, and you didn't. And that makes you a better person because of it. You don't need to come away, I'm going to look down my nose on you, ha! You pathetic weakling. Well, no, I think there's an important lesson to be learned here when it comes to the way people handle their debates. And I think there's also an even better lesson to be learned when it comes to how we treat one another as people. And I think you did a fantastic job of that last night, sir. I do appreciate that. Admittedly, like I told you before, I only got up to like the 32-minute mark before I could stop face-palming my desk. And, it was a good laugh. Like I said, it was a good laugh. But, to you guys that were a part of this, I do hope you guys learn from this, and I really hope you guys become stronger because of it.
I appreciate that that you wanted to talk to me about it, and I appreciate that they wanted to talk to me about it, and I think, like we were kind of talking before we were recording, having a conversation tells you so much about somebody, and it really sucks that we don't do that more. That we're so disconnected, and we type at people, and we. People misunderstand text messages. On the internet, it's there's no context. It's just we read into things, and it just sucks how conversation is kind of done nowadays. We're old. I'm old. I don't know. Back in my day, we had to actually talk to each other. That
right.
Kind of
Well, and it's really the worst part about all this, right? Is it's a hobby that we could all easily just get along with and share in it. You know what I mean? It's gaming, right? It's something that a lot of us have done since we were kids. So you would think, hey, my friend down the street has this. Let's go play that. And that's the way it used to be when we were kids. But here on the internet, it's quite the opposite. It's my system's better than your system. Fuck off. And it shouldn't be like that. Gaming in general should be something that brings us all together. It shouldn't be what segregates us down the line.
Totally. I completely agree with that.
So if you would like, sir, go ahead and tell these guys before we end it off here is what your channel is about and what it is that you want to bring about when it comes to this gaming community.
Okay, well, my channel is Video Game Virus. You can get there through videogamevirus.com, or just look that up, or look up CyrusMartin on YouTube. You'll either find me or you'll find someone talking about me. One of the two, but one of the two will lead you towards my stuff. What I want to do is just talk about games, talk about old games, new games. I tend to really focus more on classic games, on the retro systems and things like that. But I do,
nice.
Yeah, I do enjoy the new stuff, and I do videos on the new stuff too. So really, I just want to talk about games, and I do comedy stuff too. I do these little funny little things, or things that try to be funny and get misunderstood and start beef. But
fair enough.
I just want to be honest. I'm not I come across a lot of times, I come across as kind of pompous, and I don't mean to. I really don't. I was really concerned about that last night on the debate. I was like, I don't want to be like that, and I was really trying to not be. So it is good for me to hear from an objective person that maybe I came across the right way for that, at least in a fair way, and that's really all I was trying to do. And that's really all I'm trying to do with my channel is just have fun, be fair, and not get into constant debates and beef with people. That would be awesome.
And to be fair to you, at the beginning of the intro of this video, I did say he likes to get in debates. Understandably, this is how I actually discovered this guy. Was because of the situation that took place between him and one of my partners of the podcast. So it's like, I saw, that's how I, that's my first interpretation of your channel. And when I first saw it, that's my fault though. I should have done more and watched some of your other stuff instead of just going off of one video. So
it's not your fault, because your first impression of somebody is going to paint everything. And if the statistical likelihood of your first impression of me being from him is much higher, because he's got way more subs and way more views, and it's just more likely you would see that. So I don't fault that at all. Somebody that comes to my channel, I've gotten so used to of trying to talk people down. Like people come in and they're ready for a fight. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, I'm not trying to debate you. Like, can we just chill out a little bit? And some people they can get into that area, and some people, they're really only interested in fighting. And I'm glad to have a moment to kind of just address that and say, look, I'm not looking for fights, people. I'm really not. But we did have that debate last night, but I don't think it was nasty. I think
no, it wasn't nasty, and it wasn't offensive by any means. I mean, some of them got a little uppity about it, but that comes to be expected. It's part of the gig. It's part of what happens here. The thing, like, it's like we've already discussed. I was blown away by how much personal opinions were more in part to the actual facts, and I was just like, huh, that's different. That's definitely different. But it
was interesting.
But at the end of the day, I think these kids got to learn a lot from it, and I think like I said, you've kind of walked away from this as seems like a more sound mind than you would have say if you were to go during the whole rag situation.
I'll tell you what, having the debate really gave me a chance to reflect and really put myself back into the right mindset for my channel and for how I interact with people. And you're absolutely right that we need to be more respectful towards each other and more willing to listen to each other and more willing to see the other guys, at least where he's coming from. We don't have to agree. We're not going to agree. I mean, there's no way. But at least be willing to respect each other and say, hey, we don't agree, and that's okay. I don't agree with those two guys, and I have nothing against them. Nothing.
That's great. That's an awesome thing. You guys, I'm going to leave Cyrus's channel link down below. Thank you guys for coming and subbing to me. My channel's been sort of growing lately, and I want to try to transfer this off to other people as much as possible. I think it's better that we all grow together and we all do things together more than just attacking one another, because at the end of the day, this is gaming. This is supposed to be entertainment. This isn't about religion, politics, or anything. We leave that at the door, and we just try to have fun with one another, and I think that's what needs to happen in this community more so than anything else. Thank you, Cyrus, for coming on, sir. You are literally episode 1 of this. If anybody else wants a chance at this, please let me know. Email me at my email contacts down below, or hit me up on Twitter. Reach out to me if you like, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.